Facebook is that?
All right. Hey, everybody. John Selby with the Selby team here again for another great episode of Fridays with the Fiddle Fig. This week we're talking about buyers, or we're really addressing the buyers out there that are kind of thinking they want to sell, thinking they want to buy, but not really sure. Getting information about the market and all of that kind of playing into their decision, but ultimately kind of in that like hesitation stance or hesitation period of their decision making. So I brought one of our awesome agents in, Nick, to come help me talk about this. Nick's been with us for a year now, almost. Actually, he's been in real estate a year. He's been with us 8 months.
Yeah,
8 months. Yeah. Awesome. And I actually went to high school with Nick, so that's kind of cool. It's great to have him on the team. And he's great. He's been out there with a lot of buyers. So he's got a lot of insight into the markets. We have a couple kind of bullet points that we want to go through, and Nick's going to kind of give his opinion of what he thinks about it, how he's been helping his buyers kind of process what's going on in the market right now. Because obviously you guys know we're in some sort of crazy pandemic, and interest rates are crazy low, and there's a ton of buyers out there, and there's not a lot of inventory. So Nick, what are the kind of different periods that buyers are in, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you set the stage right. I mean, interest rates are low, and a lot of buyers are taking that as a huge advantage to get into, a potential home of their dreams. But inventory is low, so we're having a little bit of a struggle finding a home. So, really just setting them up on a search, getting them pre-approved, and that's how we're basically starting right now. Homes are going for a little bit more over list price, and so we're just talking with some buyers, trying to set a good base and set some expectations for what it's like, just getting out there in the market.
Yeah. Do you think that housing prices, they've been trending upwards, I would say, pretty heavily since April this year, since right in the thick of the pandemic? Do you think that that's going to take a quick turn around and prices are going to just drop?
Well, I think it's safe to say it's very tough to time the market. It's very hard to buy at the bottom or sell at the top, or buy at the top and sell at the bottom. So it's very tough to predict those types of things. All I can do is speak for the history so far. The pandemic has obviously put a housing shortage out there, and currently homes are going for above list price. As a first-time home buyer, that might seem intimidating. But as the market catches up, or even on a monthly basis because of low rates, you're available or it's affordable to get into that home on a monthly payment basis. So to kind of answer your question, it is very tough to time the market correctly. But if you can lock in a low rate, get a great monthly payment, you can set yourself up well for the future.
Right, because we know if you lock in a monthly payment right now on a mortgage for a house, you're kind of hedging yourself against inflation, right? We know inflation is going to happen over the next 10, 15 years, which is just going to naturally bring the housing prices up. We may see dips and valleys in there, but overall it's going to go up. And what's that mean? It means that if you buy in 5 years from now, chances are your mortgage payment's going to be higher. You're going to be able to potentially afford less if you don't make any more money. So you kind of lock that in. Same thing if you're on the sidelines and renting, right? Landlords are increasing rents at least at inflation rates.
Yeah.
So.
And with the amount of money, the government's been pumping into our economy, supporting, COVID people and victims to everything. So, inflation is bound to happen at some point here. So, owning assets is a huge positive and can add to your financial wealth. So, yeah, as long as it makes sense on a monthly payment basis, I'm seeing, my buyers get into great homes at great rates, and it's setting their families up well.
Yeah. Are you noticing anything with earlier this year, let's say in January, when rates were somewhere in the fours on a $600,000 house, versus the rates now being in the low threes for the same price house? What's that doing to the monthly payment? How does the monthly payment differ just with surely the interest rate changing, not necessarily the purchase price or the down payment changing?
Yeah, we're seeing monthly payments go down by a few $100s a month, and that's huge. Potentially thousands of dollars a year, still in your pocket.
And you're buying the same price house.
And you're buying the same price house. And, we're going to areas where buyers want to buy, close to their families, great schools. Their target areas they're getting into now because of these low monthly payments. Whereas, potentially in January, early February, when rates were about 4, we had to go to other areas, more affordable areas for some buyers. and now people are back in their target neighborhoods and at great monthly payments. What that has done in home prices is it has created some bidding wars in some cases, and that's where we kind of tell our buyers, hey, look, might have to overpay a little bit. It still makes sense on a monthly payment basis. Inflation is going to happen. If you have to overpay on a list price, now it's going to catch up on the history of home prices here in San Diego. Very stable, trending upward. So
right, and there's something to be said to have that security of you've got your house now. You can make it your home. You can make it yours. You can live there. And if we end up in another severe lockdown where we can't go anywhere and do anything, you've got your safe haven that you can really just like hunker down in, right?
Yeah, it's amazing how many people right now are finding out this apartment or condo, is not right for me. I need a yard, or maybe this house is too big. I need to downsize into something else. There's both sides of it right now. So
we're all too familiar with our living situation right now. Yeah. So I think those are great things to think about. If buyers are on the sidelines, we're never ones that are going to say, hey, you need to buy a house absolutely right now. But maybe you open up the conversation with one of us or your realtor, whoever you're working with. Might be an opportunity to just start that conversation, and you may realize that buying is actually more of a reality than you had even thought. I know I'm having that realization with a lot of my clients, and I'm sure you probably are too. They're rerunning their numbers, and Pippa's making an entry here into our video. They're making they're making connections like we talk about on the monthly basis, and they're just realizing that it's way more attainable than they had even thought. And that's bringing a lot of joy to them and a lot of excitement. So I love seeing that with my clients. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah, it's so satisfying seeing a couple that has been looking forever, and finally rates are where it needs to be to make sense for them to buy a home. And especially like you said, on a monthly payment basis, they're just doing really well for their families right now. So and maybe back in January they would never even dreamed of buying a home, and now it's becoming a reality for a lot of home buyers, first time home buyers. So we're just encouraging people just to reach out and see what you qualify for, see what types of homes we can get you into, and just open up the conversation.
Yeah, we look at it as like an education process, right? We may go through a few steps of it and realize through that education, that learning, that buying a house for you is not the right decision, but it might be. You don't know until you kind of go down that path. So awesome.
We got lots of information for you.
Yeah, we sure do. Awesome. Well, you can reach out to either of us. Our information's on our, on Instagram. It's on our Facebook page, on our website, everywhere. Feel free if there's, any further, follow-up questions from this conversation here that you guys have. You can drop them in the chat, and we'll happily answer them in a later video or privately to you. And also, if you think this video is valuable, share it with your friends. Like it, love it, give us some feedback. We would love to hear from you. And as always, if there's topics that you guys are passionate about or really have questions about, we want to be able to help you learn about it or at least answer your questions. So feel free to, give us those questions and comments and topics, and we'll make sure we get them covered. Alrighty. Thank you so much for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Tom.